All right, so time are we? 4 o'clock. Okay, so not too bad. Went about an hour longer than what I normally do because I got other stuff to do. But I'll show you what I got done for today to say that. Yeah, so basically I built a rain guard. It's definitely not a permanent solution, but I've covered the holes for now. Um, yes, eventually this bathtub will get ripped out and all that. I got to clean it all first, but all this stuff is going to get done eventually. Uh, Everything's fine in here. It smells okay in here. Smells okay in here. That's dried out. You can see the sun passes over it too. So maybe what I might do is just move my symbol out and just let that really dry out. But you can see like the moisture that was built up over a long period of time. So it's not a steady stream that's coming into there. If not, the bathtub probably would have fell through the floor. And the same over there. So these are the two worst spots in the house. So yeah, maybe one day I'll just run the skill saw at a shallow depth, cut out that piece, and deal with it, and then rip out the bathtub and deal with it at a later date. Not this year, but maybe next year, whatever. Like the bathtub itself doesn't need to be replaced. The bathtub is fine. You just need to take it out of there, take all the old rotten wood and stuff like that, and get it out there. So I got a bit of dog hair cleaned out here. Got the clothes out. I got that far. I got my nephew's moldy clothes that was in that dresser off the floor. Just getting rid of those clothes made a big difference. And all the moldy stuff that was in the fridge, no wonder they were sick all the time. There was so I cleaned out cleaned out all kinds of vegetables and stuff that were just all molded and everything. I went and threw them at the other end of the yard. So keep the animals out. Kept all the plastic stuff just so the animals don't get into it. So that's like a garbage can. So way down there's a whole bunch of stuff, and hopefully it'll be all gone by the morning. The poor fish, they're done with. I'll clean that up maybe this weekend or whatever. But I got a lot done this week. Saying I only had Sunday off, I got that filled up again. I'll show you how. Like the recycling part's almost done. All this stuff here, I gotta, wait till the garbage day. Like that there is gonna go in the next garbage. So that's full of like plastic, basically plastic. The other garbage can is out there, ready for the pickup. I'm going to have to make a decision where my scrap metal bin pile is going to be. I think what I might do is once I just whippersnip in there a bit, I'll put it there so we can get the trailer. I want some place where the trailer, Paul doesn't have to do like a 100-point turn with that 18-foot trailer in the air, where he can just come in, pull up there, come in here, go around there, maybe back it up one more time, and that way he'll still stay my friend. Where if I make it really difficult, it's like he has to do like a 17-point turn. He's not going to like me as much anymore. So you're a pain in the ass. But yeah, so I'm going to get my scrap metal over there so I can get all the copper. It's beautiful. Copper and stuff like that will be in there. Because I have scrap metal up at the house too that I got to deal with. And there's the sun again in the sky. It's cool that this camera can actually sort of see the sun. I got to get that. There's probably tons of metal and stuff in there. All these pots and pans are all metal, rusted out and stuff like that. Again, that was all the stuff that just, it's like, you can't leave, I haven't even looked in here yet. It's not too bad in there, but I should probably just leave it open to air out. Just let everything out. This is the microwave from up home because they had a bigger microwave, so this was my dad's, and my dad's, well, I don't need it, so you might as well take it. So this is familiar. The toaster, that works. So I've got a kettle, a toaster, and a microwave, and I've got a temporary fix on my leaky faucet. So again, the idea is a rain guard, so that when I'm taking a shower, which I got to take pretty soon because I'm pretty full of grass clippings and stuff, and then handling moldy food, and yeah, it's been one of them days. So yeah, today is definitely Pigsty must take his shower today. These are from up home. They're fresh and clean. The laundry, I'm gonna do a laundry this weekend because I'm work clothes. I'm running out of work clothes. So, and I'm gonna. I didn't ask my brother. He says the hot doesn't work, but I didn't ask him if it was leaking at the washing machine or on the wall. Right. So my hunch is that it's at the washing machine because if it was leaking at the wall, it'd be leaking all over here and all that stuff. What's this? What the hell is that thing? Oh, okay, that's the organizer for the. What the hell's that thing? What the hell's that thing? Light bulb. Yeah, okay. So, ooh, scrap metal. Some onions in there. I'll probably replant those. They're not molded yet, so. But yeah, like there was moldy food in the fridge. No wonder they were sick all the time. You know what I mean? You know, like you can only blame so much on the house and build quality. Everybody always blames the build quality of the house, never their lifestyle, right? So it's like the corrective behavior between my dad and I. Like, I mean, you know, it's like, okay, guys, I'll do the dishes tonight. Like my sister-in-law, she cooks up a storm. She made homemade pizza from scratch last night, guys. You have no idea how good it was. I'm telling you, if I'm not careful, this man's gonna be 900 pounds in like no time. That's why I only eat like one big meal a day because I could sit there and eat all. Like her cooking is really freaking good. But like the thing is like the dishes, like these dishes. Okay, some of them are were here. Some of them I grabbed and put here, right? But this thing was piled with dishes. There was cups with like moldy scum water in it. All that stuff, you can't let that happen in your house. Moldy stuff in the fridge. There was a squash, like I guess she was going to get the seeds out of, but it was molding on what I mean. Like that's where you're getting sick from. You got to keep on top of that. I know sometimes it's hard, but you got to declutter a bit too. And I'm not going to blame all my brother. There was three of them in the house. They all can contribute. So I'm training my nephew. Okay, well, when you see the garbage can full, I'll show you where to put it. Don't wait to be asked. Just do it. You know what I mean? Grandpa will really appreciate that. And just get them doing that, so at least we'll have like 3 against 2. You know what I mean? So it's like if I can get I don't care if I turn my nephew into a neat freak. You know what I mean? I'm not a neat freak myself, but I do I draw the line at like moldy stuff in the fridge. I draw the line at tuffets of dog hair and stuff like that. So my dad's even more. My dad's not a super neat freak, but yeah, the house has got to be clean. My mom was mediocre for that. Like she was okay. The house has got to be clean because if somebody comes over, like the main area has to look good. But some stuff, let go a little bit. God rest my mom. I'm not bad talking about my mom at all. But my mom, no. She was like, okay, time to do laundry. She'd stay on top of it, right? So my sister is actually a complete neat freak. Like she keeps her place really. She stays on top of it and stuff like that. So I don't know what happened to my brother. My brother's actually pretty clean, but he got overwhelmed with down here. And I guess she got overwhelmed with it, and they just kind of neglected things, and that made the problems worse for them. So like I say, with the windows open all the time, my dad and I always have the windows open in the summertime and stuff like that, except for when the air conditioners are going. But I have the basement window open all the time. So like the basement up there never gets musty or moldy because in the wintertime there's a wood furnace in there, right? So it just dries, and then I'll run the wood furnace plus that. Like I haven't had to put on the dehumidifier up home in the basement because that's where my room is in the basement. I haven't had to put that on for about 6 months, 8 months now. It's like I'll put it on thinking, okay, well, we'll see. And then usually like on a really humid, like in the fall when you start getting rain almost every other day, yeah, it'll fill up overnight. But then after that rain stops and you into the snow and stuff, what ends up happening is I'll run the dehumidifier and like 3 days later there's like that much water and it's like, okay, well, there's no point running it, wasting the hydro for nothing, right? But I can imagine this thing. I noticed I only ran it for an hour the other day and it was like that much water. So is going to be pulling a lot of moisture out of these walls. That's where all your, your crookedness, and that's what it is. Like the house is, there's probably 10,000 pounds worth of water in these walls. You know what I mean? Maybe not 10,000 pounds, but probably a few thousand pounds of water in these walls. But you just, it's like it's fiber, right? So it's in the fibers. That's why what you notice is like your doors are all swollen up and everything like that. And then all of a sudden one day you go like that, the door just pops open by itself. Your front door pops open because everything dries out, right? So if I do get a wood stove in here, which we'll see what happens with that. I might hold off on I'm going to get dinged on the hydro for the heating this year, but like it's just too like I didn't have enough time to really prepare. Like June, it was my brother in June was like, okay, I want to move up home. We talked to my dad, and my dad said, yeah, sure, no problem. But it's like, okay, in June, is he moving up? In July, August, whatever. He goes, no, I'm going to take my time with it. Go, because he did throw out a lot of stuff rather than bring it up there, but they did bring a lot of stuff up there too. You're taking everything from one house and bringing it into another house, right? And not everything can go. You know what I mean? Because not everything can go. So what's ended up happening is that he was taking his time, because he works full time too, going through stuff, throwing stuff out, and all that. It was the better way to do it. But I just didn't know how long it was going to take him, or if he was going to, say, around this time, say, oh, okay, never mind, I'm going to stay down here, whatever. I didn't know what he was going to do, right? So for me, it's like I couldn't tell anybody that I was going to be moving down here eventually. Like even my dad's not sure what I'm doing with this place. He's like, okay, I know he's starting with a studio because that's all I know. But and everybody's like, are you going to live down here or whatever? We'll see. Because maybe I get everything cleaned up and it's past the point of no return. And if I start, oh geez, guys, I'm getting sick and all that, you know what I mean? Then I got reality's reality. Then at that point, okay, well, I tried, but I'll still keep it as a studio. But if I don't think I'm gonna have that problem. I really don't. Like I've seen houses that are too far gone, and I know some people like they like you can't write off a whole house for a few little sections in the house that are fixable. You know what I mean? Yes, the house is crooked, but it's a 80, 100-year-old. Parts of this house are probably 100 years old. It's going to be a bit crooked. See how straight and taut you are at 100 years old. But the point is that I don't think this place is anywhere near. This place, if it's taken care of, it'll outlast me. It'll stand for another 100 years. You know what I mean? You got to stay on top of it. But with the roof, the new roof, well, it's not new, but newish considering the age of the house. The roof was put on like less than 20 years ago. So maybe in the spring I go up there with a little bit, with a new bag of screws and just redo, all because the little rubber grommets are usually what give way. But go up there with the drill, the drill and just, refasten everything, and then maybe get some it doesn't look nice, but you can get tar paint and just paint around the screws. It looks horrible, but like your roof never leaks. That's why I love tin. Tin lasts forever almost, especially this coating you have on it now. Like it's like bare tin, you'd still get it. Even like 1900s bare tin, you'd probably still get 100 years out of just that tin before it was actually rusted through. Stuff lasts forever. Shingles, I hate shingles. Don't like shingles. Never going to have shingles. I don't know anybody that has a shingle roof that doesn't have like a ton of problems. Tin roof, you can have problems, but they're much easier to fix. New screws, bag of screws, might cost you $100 worth of screws, whatever, with the little grommets. Take the old ones out, put the new ones in, seal it up, whatever. Don't bang the ends of it with a hammer or an axe in the wintertime. And dent all the, just deal with the problem. You know what I mean? So for the problems that are in here, the main problems that are going to be in here is sealing up the windows, just so that they're not leaking, dealing with the basement. The basement is the biggest problem. But as you see in the past week, just keeping the door open for a week and a half has made a huge difference in here. Like I say, it's musty, but most of the mustiness is the stuff that I'm taking out. You know, because again, they didn't open the windows enough. They had the air conditioner, and a lot of people have that mentality. If you have the air conditioner going, it'll cool the house, and you'll have fresh air coming in. Problem is you don't really get fresh air coming in from an air conditioner. You get recycled air, type of thing, and you get a little bit, but you don't get enough. And the air conditioner kicks off a lot of moisture, and which contributes to the problem, right? So for me, every nice day that I get between now until the snow flies, those windows are going to be open. And again, like right now, if I walk outside, it's probably about 4 degrees warmer out there than it is in here, just because of letting all that, like all the air here is going out. Night and day in here from last week, guys. And again, they were living with the windows closed. They had that window open a bit, but they didn't have that open. Plus, they had the dog in here. Plus, they had, the 2 dogs in here. So when the air conditioner broke down, they did have this window open, but I think that was it. But that was closed. So there was, and the basement was closed. So there was no circulation. You know what I mean? And then maybe the front door was open a bit, or the window open. Couldn't leave the door open because the dog would take off, right? The dogs would take off. So, I've got the doors open. I got the basement open. And when I went into the basement, last Friday, was, the first time I came down here, and I went into open the basement. The basement was it was nasty. It was very nasty. And it's like, you can go down there. I still wouldn't sleep down there at this point. Like, it'd be like 6 months before somebody could sleep down there. And I wouldn't want to sleep down there long term. It'd be about a year and a half of keeping the dehumidifier going and sealing it off before anybody be safe enough to sleep down there. But it's to the point where you could almost sleep down there and, for a night or two and not get sick. You know what I mean? Why? Because fresh air is what you need. The other thing is curtains on everything and, blinds down and all that. And I mean, they did a lot, just to keep the heat out, right? But the thing is opening up the attic takes care of that. And then you can open up your windows, right? Okay, middle of July, you might want curtains, whatever. But I don't even think I'm going to need, an air conditioner in here for the worst months. I'm not a big fan of air conditioning. Like, Dad has like the heat pump up there, which has central air in it and all that. But even at that, I'm not a fan of air conditioning at all. Never really was. I find the air just gets too stagnant. But also too, after a while, like, the air conditioner can't remove the humidity. It can cool the place down, but it can't remove the humidity. The only thing that removes the humidity is fresh air or a dehumidifier. That's cheaper to run an open window than it is to run a dehumidifier. But however, in the wintertime, when I'm stuck in here by myself, there's not going to be any aquarium there letting out all kinds of moisture too. Like, I can literally notice a difference in, the lack of the presence of the, that was really stinking up the place. I mean, again, all these little things add up. You have to air things out. Like, once I get these dishes cleaned up, right? Hopefully get them done this weekend. And the cupboards washed out, it's going to smell better again. You know what I mean? Because it's just, you're removing all these odors. Once you get rid of all the odors, then you can kind of hone in on, okay, is there actual mold? Is there actual this? So this place isn't bad. It's rough, but it's not bad. It's just, it's old. So, a lot of it had to do with just the lifestyle that they were running. Not putting the garbage out fast enough. That stunk up the place. The 2 dogs, that stunk up the place probably the most. You use all the eggshells, stuff like that. Not cleaning out the fridge enough, that's going to stink up the place. Keeping, all the windows closed, that's going to stink up the place. Doing laundry, that's going to create moisture. Boiling a pot of water, that's going to create moisture. Just breathing creates moisture. So again, guys, like, I wish it could convey, on the camera what the difference is in this place a week and a half later. Like, it's like, night and day. Now, again, I still got a lot of cleaning up to do in here, but like that chair there, I'll probably be able to salvage it. I'm gonna see how long it holds the smell for, because like all that clothes and stuff, like those bags, you open the bags were rank. Why? Because it was just piled in the closet, just sitting there, taking on all these fumes, right? Wicking, so that stunk. These old pieces of carpet, that stunk. You know what I mean? The linoleum, when I took that linoleum out, like that stunk like crazy because underneath, right? So it's like you don't notice it as much, but as soon as you move something, bang, you notice it right away, right? So for me, my goal for, like, for example, that linoleum there, all that's coming out. The reason why it's there is because he had all the TV and all that. He just cut around it just to get it out of here. But he cut out carpet. There was carpet here. There was carpet in the living room, the linoleum floor. He's already taken all that stuff out, and he couldn't get ahead of it, right? He just needed to go a little bit further and just like pull everything out, clean it, get it out, and whatever. And then, okay, if you have to wear slippers for, the rest of your life so you don't get slivers in your feet, that's the downside to these type of floors. They're not that bad, but you get the odd sliver. Is what it is, but you got to wash things down and stuff like that. Now, she could have done that. So it's like, yeah. So, like the cupboards, whatever. Like they did do that stuff. They didn't stay on top of it. And then they had so much clutter that it's like pulling it. Like, for example, you saw all the dishes and everything earlier on that were all up in there. Well, they're now, what's left that I'm keeping is on there, but I pulled everything out of there, right? And you saw all the cupboards were full. So there was stuff you could tell hadn't been cleaned. So they were using like a little bit there and a little bit there and then just left the rest. But if they weren't using, they should have just got rid of it and it would have been much easier to manage. So, that's a problem. You get so much clutter, and everybody's guilty of this, myself included. You get so much clutter that, you get overwhelmed with it, and then you don't deal with it. And then when you don't deal with it, it compounds and gets worse. So what I'm going to do with this place is like, obviously is, it's good. Again, I always tend to like a more open space. I don't like a lot of clutter. And I don't own really a lot of things, like I've already done, I think, one truckload, and, so far it's probably, between that little bit of stuff there, that's probably 40% of what I own. Now add that, whatever. And again, all this is going and that's going, and, I'll get this all sorted out. And to tell you the truth, if I can get it all sorted out, that all the stuff that I'm going to keep goes into here, I'll just use this and leave those there and don't do anything with them. You know what I mean? I don't need much. Right now, I know 3 people have a lot more stuff. Like my nephew had a lot of toys, he had all that stuff. But all that stuff, when you bring it up home, you have to clean it before you bring it to the house too. Or same thing, or the same thing's going to happen up there. So, my dad and I had a slight discussion on that. It's like I said,